Hi, my name is Khushbu Rastan, and I'm coming with the first episode of the Foreign Correspondents Talk Series 2024, an initiative by the Association of Foreign Press Correspondents USA, where we invite distinguished members of the foreign press community to talk about their work and experiences here in the United States. And today, I'm delighted to have with me Mr. Mushfiqul Ansari, a Washington based journalist and analyst from Bangladesh. Welcome, Mr. Ansari, and thank you for making the time. How are you doing this morning?
Thank you, Khushbu. Thanks for having me. I'm doing great, and thank you. How are you?
I am very well, and just waiting for sun to come out here in DC. Otherwise, I'm expecting it to be a warmer day. That's at least the prediction. So, we will start right away. If you could briefly tell us, the outlets that you are, working with, and your area of focus, the beats that you cover. If you could tell us briefly.
Oh, thank you, Khushbu, and great to be here with you. And yeah, and I'm with the Foreign Correspondents Association for a long time. And obviously, those who are practicing journalists, we are associated with the professional groups. And I'm a proud member of the White House Correspondent Association. And previously, I served as permanent UN correspondent. Still, I'm covering UN. So I'm a member of the UN Correspondent Association as well.
Mhm.
And I'm covering White House and the State Department and UN as well. As you know, it's a small news outlet based in Bangladesh I'm working for. It's called Just News PD. By the way, it's blocked in Bangladesh. Nobody can read from Bangladesh, and it's about from 2015, end of 2015, I think it's blocked in Bangladesh because of my journalism, and
Mhm.
it's a long history. So I don't want to back. Uh, and then or started working with South Asia Perspectives. It's a small news magazine as well. It's a Washington-based small, basically. It's a foreign policy magazine on South Asia, and it's a small group we are working led by Ambassador Bill Milam. He's our editor, and we are working in this magazine. I think it's more than a year. Yeah, I'm working on that, and same I'm covering White House and the State Department, and occasionally UN, as I served previously as UN correspondent from 2016 till 17. Yeah, 15 to 17, 3 years. So I was in New York, and then I moved here. But
Mhm.
my journalism started from Bangladesh. Obviously, I'm originally from Bangladesh.
Uh-huh. When did you start working as a journalist? What, gravitated you towards this profession? You were like, no, I have to do this. This is the line that I want to pursue.
Oh, it's yeah. I embarked on my journalism initially, starting as a reporter. It's long days ago. I think I started in 1997. Yeah, and but for at the time I was basically working for a research-based organization in Bangladesh,
Mm-hmm.
and it's called BUP, Bangladesh Unnayana Parishad, and I was working there. Then but at that time I started writing, and it was my learning time, how to write, how to make a report. And though my background is not I did not study in journalism, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I have that interest and my passion for storytelling and keen interest in current affairs. And that, you know, and from there I started journalism, and I worked a small basically I was a sports reporter initially,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked for a sports magazine called Kriralok in Bengali. It
Mm-hmm.
means the sports world, something like that. And then I worked a political magazine called Weekly Robbar, means Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So both are the old, and Robber is very famous news magazine at that time, and Robber is under Robber Publications, and then I work, and for and for sometimes I worked with the government in 2001 to 2006. From 2001 to 2006, I got a position in the Prime Minister's office as assistant spokesperson. We call as assistant press secretary. So
Mm-hmm.
at the time, Begum Khaleda Zia was prime minister. So I served her as assistant spokesperson. Then I moved again my profession, journalism. I worked in the oldest Bengali daily, Ittifaq, as diplomatic correspondent, not for a long time though.
Mm-hmm.
And for a short time, I worked for the private news agency called UNB. Yeah, and then I moved in London, and in London, I involved with the Times and the Sunday Times newspaper as work experience reporter. I was not a staff correspondent, but I worked there as a work experience
Mm-hmm.
reporter. I hosted a TV show in Bangladesh.
Oh,
It's titled
wonderful.
Hello Excellency, about nearly 100, no, not 100, not much, I think, less than that. Ambassadors, dignitaries, congressmen, member of House of Commons, member of the House of Lords
Mm-hmm.
from the UK joined my TV show. And it
Was
is,
was it your first exposure to like international media, or you had done that before?
oh, no, I have done this before from Bangladesh, but obviously, but my TV show is based in Bangladesh. It's one of the private TV network called NTV,
Mm-hmm.
and I was their host. I was not their staff, but I hosted
I see.
TV show, and it was in bilanguage, Bengali and English. So diplomats are talking in English, so we are making translation for the viewers friendly, so that viewers can understand easily. So we are inviting a guest in the studio, so we are discussing what the ambassadors and the foreign dignitaries are telling about. So my show name was Hello Excellency. So it was also blocked by the. As you know, the press freedom is very challenging nowadays in
I
Bangladesh.
was coming to that point because you were saying you started as a writer, and then you moved to sports journalism, then you moved to politics, then you were with the prime minister's office, and then you moved back to journalism. How have you seen your country change in terms of journalism, press freedom over the years? From being, not being a reporter, being a writer, then being a reporter, being in the office, in the government office, and then going back to journalism, and then you said a lot of your your publication is blocked in Bangladesh. The interviews that you did were blocked in Bangladesh. How are things right now, and how are things different back then?
Yeah, though uh, I wouldn't say that Bangladesh is a all along is a press freedom is prevailing in this country. So it was more or less it was challenging in Bangladesh, and it is worse. And the yeah, I was not involved in politics directly, but I served a political figure, prime minister. It was my contractual job, so that's why the regime people are trying to categorize me as opposition, though I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
And but this at the time, is the press freedom situation. If you go to the press freedom index, it's declining every year. And if I when I was with the government as contractual basis, I think it was in less than, according to 180 countries. You can see the Reporters Without Borders. They are in the press freedom index. It was in the, though it was not good, but it was in the within the 150 countries. But now is 163 the Bangladesh position according to press freedom index. Even it is then 11 steps behind from war-torn Afghanistan. Obviously, India is very near. The in press freedom is 161,
Exactly.
and yeah, and the last position we are in the region. China is, I think, 179, and North Korea is 180. But in the region, Nepal is doing better. I
Mm-hmm.
think their position is 95 in the press freedom index, and Pakistan position is 150, I guess. So India, the largest democracy in the world, India, but the its press freedom situation is, I should say, is very vulnerable nowadays.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you think Bangladesh and India are, we see both leaders, being good friends together. Do you think they're also exchanging notes on how to manage media together? Because both countries are neighbors and both countries are moving towards something, which we can call something dangerous in a way that for at least for freedom of press.
Yeah. I'm a little bit frustrated about India because there it has a long-standing democratic norms and practices, and very diverse community, and very recently, I'm just observing that I think 2 years back it was 150 in the International Press Freedom Index. Now, instantly it's 10 points, downgraded.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very alarming. And the another alarming piece is, yeah, as you said, the both the prime minister. I don't want to comment what they are thinking and what they are doing because it's visible. People know, people are aware what they are doing, and unfortunately, in 2021, Bangladesh Prime Minister, got a position, got a title. It's called the Predators of Press Freedom. Reporters Without Borders branded 37 heads of state as predators of press freedom who cracked down massively on press freedom. And one of them was Sheikh Hasina, the Bangladesh Prime Minister. So, and I'm from that country. And the main problem is Bangladesh press freedom nowadays. Government don't need to pressure because there is a sort of compromise from the newspapers owners or from the media owners. One, they are working for the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and her party, and some of them they are compromised because of their survival. So in more than a decade, it's 15 years Sheikh Hasina is in power. So you can imagine the authoritarian role going on in Bangladesh.
Mm-hmm.
And we have about more than 3,000 news papers, more than 30 TV channels, and whenever someone talking to the government, they will see, oh, see, we have a lot of news media, and there is a very vibrant so-called news media. But when you will see very closely that all the TV channels, with the most of them, four or five, I think, at the time in about 15 years back, I think 6, 7 TV channel now is 30, and all the TV channels owners are either pro-government or they are directly involved with the government ministers or their brother and their family. So and the news media, like newspaper, they are compromising with the government. So self censorship is another obstacle for the press freedom in Bangladesh, and you will not see. Nobody is free to write in Bangladesh. Yeah, you can write. You are free, but you have to write for me. Nothing in between. You have to be my man. And I can recall one of the Al Jazeera piece, the all the prime ministers man. So there was a title. So all has to be talk and write for the prime minister. But still, there are people I have to admire. I have to acknowledge there are people from Bangladesh. They are practicing free journalism. I can recall one from Bangladesh. From outside, many people are talking and writing from Bangladesh. One of the great photojournalist. He was in 190 days. He was in jail for he just appeared in Al Jazeera and was reporting against the government. He was the Time Magazine Person of the Year, Shahidul Alam. I had the opportunity to work with him. Still, I'm working with him. And the one of the great news editor, I should say, the Nurul Kabir, the editor of the New Age. So I can tell many people name the professor Asif Nazrul, and many of them, they are trying to say what they believe. They're trying to write what they think. So still there is people on the ground. They are trying to exercise press freedom, freedom of press in Bangladesh, but it is very costly in Bangladesh.
You know, you recently wrote a piece in this Indian publication, very respected Indian publication called The Wire, about the recent elections in Bangladesh, and you mentioned that you know the election has been described as a dummy election. Could you elaborate on the on you know why would you characterize that election as a dummy election?
Yeah. First of all, this word is chosen by the all the international media, those who are writing freely. So media outlet worldwide expressed their concern and condemnation to the one-sided election in Bangladesh, which was held in January 7, 2024 this year. The Guardian, in its editorial, they describe the situation. The title is "The Guardian View on Bangladesh Phony Election: A Bad Day for Democracy." That's what the Guardian title. The Financial Times raised the alarm with the title "Bangladesh Election Raise Fears of Descent into One-Party Rule." So in the BBC, they captured the essence of the skewed election process in the title Bangladesh, the election that has turned into a one-woman show. So, and you know, the New York Times, you know, the crackdown on opposition, and there was a, so as I'm a newsman, so I'm quoting from the newspaper, and the election, it was not an election, it was just a selection. Dumb election means, you know, election within there is a famous definition of democracy is for the people, by the people, of the people. Nowadays in Bangladesh, people change the dialogue. They're telling for the Awami League, by the Awami League, to the Awami League. Awami League means the ruling party. It's called democracy. Because there is a parliament, prime minister is selecting opposition, and all major political party boycotted this election. And when dummy word started, because the prime minister herself told that they will give the dummy candidate. They are giving 100 seats in the parliament. About 2,000 people contested the election, and all from the party, ruling party, from Awami League, this way or that way. Some had got the nomination from the ruling party, and some they pushed them to participate in the election as independent. And there is an opposition. It's also ally with the government. So that's how the international media and the rights group and all the international observer, and obviously most of the international observer, rejected to observe that election. So basically, this was not an election like the 2018 main opposition party participated. That election has stolen. The 2014 election also stolen, because the 165 seats they declare their victory without any contest, without any election. So that's why the country, unfortunately, moving forward a one party role and authoritarian style of, you know, leadership.
You know, you in your article you said that the US has taken a 180-degree turn on its stance on Bangladesh, especially on Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Why do you think there is a change, and how do you think US can actually help you know, improve situation, at least for freedom of expression? And you know, you said there has been a crackdown on opposition. Because before the election, as you mentioned in your article, the US had been sending some sort of signals, some sort of messaging, but after the election, we saw the tone you know, gradually changing. So why do you think there has been a change, and what role can the US actually play in terms of freedom of expression and freedom of press in Bangladesh?
Yeah, US is a great patron of the global democracy, and President Biden declared his agenda and in his foreign policy, democracy and human rights is on top. So, and the US was very beginning. US was urging for a free, fair, and credible election in Bangladesh, and they are just verbally they're saying they engaged in many ways in Bangladesh. We have seen a lot of visits, and I have asked that question many times to the White House, State Department, National Security spokesperson, and they categorically say and the Secretary Blinken also said that whole world is watching Bangladesh election, and they want to see free, fair, and credible election, and that's why they gave so many leverage on that, and the imposed visa restriction way ahead of election in May. They declared that those who will undermine the democracy and democratic electoral process, US will impose visa sanction. And in 2021, US imposed sanction on RAB, Rapid Action Battalion, and under Magnitsky Act, 6 top officials got sanctions. And so US was very much engaged, and US expressed their concern not only after the 2018 election. Same question I asked, they say it was not considered as free and fair election. And this time also US mentioned that it is neither free nor fair election. So if it is not, why not US is doing what they promised, And there was a huge expectation in Bangladesh. In many countries, US move was not that much popular when US is going. But in Bangladesh, I should say, US move was very popular because nobody can do anything. Whole opposition, they captured everything, the state apparatus doing for the ruling party. Disappearances is going on. 660 people disappeared, and they faced the extrajudicial killing. And by the way, that's why US imposed sanction on RAB, Rapid Action Battalion. It's called RAB, and the opposition, thousands before the election even, 25,000 opposition, all rank and file, they were in jail, and main opposition leader Begum Khaleda Zia, she's in jail about a decade, and according to State Department human rights report, it's a political ploy to remove her from the political process. So if US believes, so why not his action is we're seeing, and why not, US, that's why I just still US, because focus is diverted, though I don't believe that focus is important because there is a set policy on every country from the US, but because of the Middle East crisis, the Gaza issues are there, and the other issue. And there is a strong belief that India influenced US to step back. And I can recall one piece from the Wall Street Journal that Bangladesh shows democracy promotion, in India, not India, Biden administration step back democracy promotion from Bangladesh. And Indian influence is very much visible. In 2014, they sent their foreign secretary to ensure Sheikh Hasina's victory. This time they did not send foreign secretary, but they involved and they try to influence that. This is a strong belief and widely believe that India was, and I can quote from India Today, before the election, there was a piece that India Today published a piece that India is backing, India, China, and Russia. They are united to back Sheikh Hasina to keep her in power. On the other hand, US is supporting opposition. That was the India Today's report. So and we have seen in Bangladesh how they engage, how people are going, the ruling party leaders are going to New Delhi, coming here and making decision. And the foreign minister publicly said, the former foreign minister, like this time after January, they appointed a new foreign minister. He said he went to Delhi and urged the Indian government to keep Sheikh Hasina in power by any means. So this is another piece that Indian influence, and India is you see, we have a strong bondage with the India in many ways. People are going there for treatment. We have the bilateral ties, but I don't know. I asked that question to the Indian diplomats and whatever. Why you are supporting an individual like Sheikh Hasina, authoritarian like Sheikh Hasina? If you value the people-to-people contact, you are claiming the largest democracy in the world. To some extent, it's true, but nowadays it's not under the Modi government. India is facing the same problem. All business tycoon grabbing the all news media outlet. The Adani captured the NDTV, the Mukesh Ambani, he bought the 70 news outlet, I guess, news media. So there is another piece or another problem within the India,
Mm-hmm.
but it is very frustrating. Why India is doing this? Because for the security, for the regional peace and stability, democracy is the only way, only option, and it can work, and India can work together. So if people can choose the leadership, so nothing can be better than this.
Do you think, the fear of China getting closer to Sheikh Hasina is one of the reasons behind India and the US actually backing her, because they're afraid that Bangladesh can actually veer towards Beijing more if they are not maintaining a good friendly contact with her?
Yeah, China and Russia is surprisingly, Russia was very much engaged in this election. We have seen their public statement. The spokesperson is condemning the U.S. role. This I did not see this. This is for the first time, and the Chinese involvement is very much visible. They are coming through the Road and Belt Initiative, and I mentioned my piece, and Chinese involvement, yeah, is very significant, and is alarming from the West. And China is the first, who congratulated Sheikh Hasina, and they are publicly, giving statement that Sheikh Hasina, they want to see Sheikh Hasina as prime minister. They are very much glad, and this is very alarming. And there are Chinese involvement is, I think, yeah, it should. The U.S. should take a note on that. That how the China is coming, to Bangladesh, and Sheikh Hasina is maintaining ally with China, similarly with the India. So, but I don't know, I don't think so, but India is endorsing that alignment, because I saw a statement from the foreign minister, Indian foreign minister, that yeah, it can be because there is a big neighbor, so neighbor can establish their relationship. This kind of statement, I forgot exactly, but one kind of endorsement she got from the India in terms of relationship with the China.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Obviously,
the Mr. Jaishankar, Foreign Minister of India, basically recently said that in during the Munich conference that we are not anti-West, we are non-West. So maybe this is a non-West, kind of alignment coming over between Bangladesh and India, where they're also having not India so much, but at least Bangladesh is having a good relationship with China. I have only two more questions for you. You have talked about the situation back home, but you have been in Washington, in the US, especially for last 10 years now, more than a decade, I believe.
yeah.
How, what has been your experience working in the US as a journalist, covering your country from thousands of miles away? How do you summarize your experience here the last 10 years?
So very briefly, because this is the beauty of America, that I can exercise, I can write whatever I think, I can say whatever I can believe. And I had that experience. I traveled with President Trump in London and Berlin. And, I made whatever I reported, because the president's schedule is everybody knows and nothing. But I reported against the balloon and other things in London, the protest. And obviously Trump, obviously there was another, authoritarian role was establishing. And thanks God that America is not chosen that path. I don't know what will happen
Will happen in the next few
in
months. Yeah.
coming days. Yeah. So, but I reported against, thoroughly, and against means whatever happened in the street, in the protest. And nobody asked me that why you reported. If I report, something, for instance, I'm coming with the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, and I'm coming reporting against her, I cannot enter in the aircraft. So I cannot. So, and in Bangladesh, and there is a Digital Security Act. Now they changed their name, that, but everything is the same. Cyber Security Act, and in the name of, nobody can criticize Prime Minister and her family, like her father, and there and even not only this digital or cyber security act, there is another 9 additional law prevailing in this country. When I am talking to you, I saw the news that one of the graphics designer is in jail. He arrested. He just design making poster for the social awareness, or their demands, and then he got arrested under the Digital or Cyber Security Act. So at least this kind of act is not there. So journalism is not a crime. Journalism, and if we want to, and it's a we have to, if you want to maintain the accountability and transparency, obviously journalism and free media is very essential. And in the it's called fourth state, and is though it's coming from the House of Commons, it started, it's a long history. So I'm enjoying press freedom in in the USA, and it is very difficult in Bangladesh. I don't know was difficult, how much difficult in India and other countries, but Sri Lanka nowadays, they passed another bill, another law to the internet safety security, which is alarming, and it is obstacle for the freedom of press. So yeah, USA is a, I should say, the press freedom still, press freedom is are there, and we can exercise, we can take advantage of that for Bangladesh, because nobody can say and write anything from Bangladesh, only a few. So I think, yeah, compared to Bangladesh, it's a heaven for press freedom.
Thank you so much for, making the time and speaking
Thank
with
you.
us, sharing your insights and your excellent trajectory, your work. We really appreciate you joining us today. Let's stay in touch, and I'll see you again soon. We live in the same city.
Thank you, Khushbu.